Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Another Diamond in a Jukebox. I'm your host Maria Lebedev, and today my guest is a Salvadorian actress, dancer, singer-songwriter, editor, film director, and former national athlete Eve Alas.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, hi Eve. Thank you so much for being on my show.
No, thank you. It's so exciting to have this interview, and thank you.
Yeah, well, it's exciting for me as well. So let's go ahead and dive right into the questions. How old are you?
I am 26 years old.
I see. You were born in El Salvador. How old were you when you started learning English?
I started when I was 4 years old. I went to a bilingual school.
Oh, I see. Well, that definitely explains it. Yeah, because your English is perfect.
Oh, thank you.
And how old were you when you came to the States?
I was 18 years old when I moved here.
hmm I see. And you're currently residing in Los Angeles, right?
Yes, I am currently in LA. Yeah.
Okay. So you've been studying violin since the age of 4, and you graduated from the School of Music at the National Center for the Arts at age 17. You were
Yes.
also simultaneously studying ballet from age 7 until you completed your Royal Academy of Dance formation for the Alcira Alonso Ballet Foundation of El Salvador.
Yes.
Okay. How old were you when you completed the RAD formation?
So I completed everything when I was 18 before I moved here to the United States. My parents were like, you need to finish everything before you leave. That way you're prepared, especially because I was gonna study dance. So, yeah.
I see. Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. You were so young, and at the same time, you were also. Hmm, it's like you learn how to play a musical instrument. You're studying dance. Like you also study ballet from yeah, like from a really young age. Like you were like 7.
Yes.
You basically completed the whole this whole dance program at such a young age. That's very very impressive. So,
Thank you.
and in addition to studying all of that, you also studied rhythmic gymnastics from the age of 6. And you actually became a Pan American champion in 2010 and a Central American champion in 2012. And you have completed the World Cup of Pesaro, Italy in 2012. How old when you received both of those titles?
I was 12 years old for the Central American Championship, and I was 10 for the Pan American Champion. And then I went to the World Cup when I was 12.
I see. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is insane. Holy shit. I think you're probably like the most accomplished person that I've like read about. And when I was reading your biography, when I was writing the questions, it was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, like yeah, when I was a kid, I was just like hanging out and watching TV all the time, and you did all of that. It's very, very impressive.
Thank you.
So, where does your passion for the arts and sports come from?
You know, my dad, I would say he's a musician, he's a civil engineer, but at the same time he was an athlete as well. So I think like I don't know, I felt like it was in my blood. Nobody told me like, "Oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that." It kind of like, my parents kind of gave me options in life, like what I could do of the possibilities. And then I just like had this thing of like competition and like really like challenging myself. I think that's why I kind of fell in love with the arts because like every single day it's a new challenge. Like you gotta push it through, like it's like kind of like I'm like an athlete. So I think like that is where all came in. I didn't know that I was gonna do all of these things. It just kind of like went by as like, for example, gymnastics started and I didn't know that I was gonna end up being a dancer. But because my training demanded me knowing ballet, then I started, learning ballet and I had to do it pretty well. So my parents were like, okay, let's do the certifications. And so I did all of them.
Well, you definitely have a lot of passion or like everything that you do this, because like otherwise why would you be doing it? And honestly, I feel like a lot of that, like your talent and like your willingness to work that hard and also your motivation should uh you probably inherited that from your father. Like it must be genetic, since you said that he is also kind of like that same way you said he's an engineer and a musician.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
He's like I grew up with this kind of like double life with my father. He was part of my training team as well. He was part of my like kind of physical training area. I would train with him like certain hours every day and take care of that, and then at the same time he was taking care of the mu music part. He plays like so many instruments. He plays the guitar, the piano, the bass, like everything he plays. And also then there's also the side of my mom. She's very disciplined, I would say. And so I think like in order to do all these type of things, you gotta be disciplined and, kind of like be constant in what you do. So I think like she really taught me values of like those values to for me to do everything excellently, not halfway, but like do it like as it's supposed to be and the best I could, you know.
Well, there you go. That's definitely where it comes from. The support of your parents. And
Definitely.
like, mom was definitely right when she said that, like if you do something, just like don't just like do it halfway, just like go all the way.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay, let's see. So in 2017, you participated in an intensive summer program at NYU Tisch, which in turn led you to enroll at the Hofstra University in 2018. Also, I interviewed a musician a couple of months ago who also studied at the Hofstra University. Yeah,
Oh,
he's an EDM artist. His name is Drama Geddon.
oh, okay.
That's his stage name.
Okay.
So yeah, so I thought it was like a pretty cool detail that you went to Hofstra.
Yeah, yeah, like it's so funny. Whenever I mention my university, I end up like meeting so many people who have graduated from them and they're like really successful now. I think Hofstra is a really great university. I think they taught me well. I loved my department. Also, the music department is amazing. They really support the students. So I think is one of the things I really enjoy. And it's also community, when you get out of school, like they also keep track of the community as well, whoever graduated from there. So it's pretty cool.
Hmm. I see. Yeah, it's definitely really cool that they keep track of the community of people who went there.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So anyway, so when you went to Hofstra, you pursued you have a bachelor's from there, a specialization in dance and drama. So how did you experience studying in New York better your skills in your career?
I think New York changed my life. I always tell everybody that. I think like I would say like now living in two major cities, right? Like you live in New York and then you live in LA, you see how different they are. I think like New York really focus on the insightful part of my art, like really dig in deep as to what I want to say and think really like what is it that in that time dance, right? What movement like says what is the purpose of what you're doing? I think like my professors who are all amazing, like my ballet teachers, contemporary teachers, they really made me the artist that I am today. They would always like come in with exercises of like, what is your motivation? What are you trying to say? Without being really like exposing all of being too exposing with your movements, but being like showing quality. I
Mhm.
think like that's what all of those things that I've learned in dance, I've learned how to transfer them little by little in my music and in my acting. I think like yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I think like New York really changes your life overall. Like, I mean, you go there, you see dance pieces, and it's just so insightful. Like, everything is so deep, and you can say so much with so little. And that I appreciate it. I'm kind of I do a lot of stuff. Yes, I do a lot of stuff, but I kind of like to keep it at the essence of why I do all of these stuff. And I think like that's the kind of artist that I am. I do all of these stuff not to be seen, but more to tell people you can do it. You know, I'm from a country that didn't offer anything, and I am here, you know. That's kind of what I learned to keep my culture, to show and not be afraid to show it out there, and then also to have a message in everything I do. I think like that's what I learned in all my 4 years of my bachelor, really.
Hmm. I see. Um, okay, and I did not have this particular question prepared, but it definitely just like popped into my head based on what you said. So you were born in El Salvador. Did I ask you how old you were when you came to the States yet? No, wait, you
Yes.
said 18.
Yes.
Okay, and so you also just said that growing up there, like it didn't offer you much in terms of like education and sources, like for you to learn all of those things. How did you manage to do all of that anyway?
Oh my God. If I tell you how I ended up like doing so. Okay, so if we start really in the because the type of sport, for example, if we go to the type of sport that I practice is rhythmic gymnastics, everybody knows what the artistic gymnastics is, which is the one that Simone Biles does, like the one that everybody knows. But rhythmic gymnastics is a little bit more less well known. It's the one with the ribbon, the hoop, and all that. That was new back home. And there were not a lot of resources. I mean, they were just starting. When I joined the national team, they were just starting. The federation had just started their journey into that sport. So I really was one of the first generations to really get out of there, like being a rhythmic gymnast, you know, representing El Salvador. So I kind of was always a pioneer in stuff, you know, like I kind of had to always like figure out what to do. So my parents were like, we're gonna get YouTube and we're gonna watch videos, and we would watch videos of like Russian girls, like Russian trainers, which you know it was the best at the time, right? Russians were governing the rhythmic gymnastics area, and I would watch for hours videos. I would, you know, try to find information wherever I could. I mean, I was blessed because the federation and my parents would send me to summer intensives in Houston to train for a while. But it was the same for ballet. I mean, we would like look it up in the on YouTube. Like I learned really through videos and stuff like that. And my teachers, for example, were trained in ballet for the rat because you have to. They were trained to teach that and to do that, but they were also like learning from like some videos and stuff like that, learning from uh here and there. They were going to certifications, but it was really lacking a lot of education. So I everybody in my country, one thing I love about our culture is that we kind of like are quick. We're like, okay, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna learn how to do it, and we're gonna, you know, find ways to keep to keep it going. But definitely, it was not easy. Contemporary, I never learned it there. I my really first time I learned contemporary dance was at NYU. That was my first time, and I was 17
Hmm.
and I was supposed to go to school for dance. So it was like, and that's one of the two main genres that they teach you in dance school, contemporary and ballet.
Hmm.
So, and I had never done hip hop, I've never done jazz. I literally started like really late to do all this stuff. But because I had a strong like, you know, flexibility because of rhythm gymnastics and stuff like that, it made it all easier. Now, in music, it was more, there were more resources, but still, you know, the resources were always limited. So we always had to find ways to teach ourselves how to do certain stuff. It was really, really hard.
Hmm. I see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, like when you were in El Salvador, you did go to school for ballet. So, I mean, there was that. But still, the fact that you had to basically self teach yourself all of these things, like that is also very impressive. I mean, I remember that when I was 15, I really wanted to learn how to sing. And so I started out by just singing along to CDs that I had played when I was hanging out at home. And then eventually I started taking voice lessons. And I remember thinking that, like, there is no way that I can learn uh, all the techniques that I need to learn to be that I need to know to be good on my own. Like I definitely need a teacher, like someone who knows how to do this better to help me out. And when it comes to like teaching yourself by watching things like YouTube videos or whatever else you can find online, I definitely learn much better in an environment that's it's basically like a classroom environment. So because whenever if it's just me like sitting by myself in like in my room or my apartment behind my computer, like eventually it gets kind of boring because like there's no motivation. Like you don't have that aspect of like you have to do an assignment, hand it in, and get graded on it. Like I definitely need that. So the fact that you were able to like use so few resources and get to where you are, I know I've already like said that word like 100 times before that is, dude, that's awesome. Like seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So let's see. Hmm. hmm. So you kind of already mentioned this before, but like, what specifically about living in New York like inspired you when it comes to your art? Like, what aspects of it?
I think like everybody asks me that question. I feel like a lot of like our professors also have lived in New York in a certain way. Like a lot of artists have gone through New York, if that makes sense. Like if you ask them, they're like, "Oh yeah, I lived in New York for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, whatever." Um, I think it's rich. That's how I would describe it. It's rich in culture. It's rich in knowledge. It's rich in art, in everything. Like if you want to go watch a piece of Broadway in the Joyce Theater, for example, in New York City, and you want to see like kind of like companies that are smaller, but they're everything is amazing, and everybody has a voice. I always say this, I really discovered the voice as an artist there
Mm-hmm.
because of the techniques that they apply, the things that you learn there. You really get to know people in your audience. And I feel like you cannot be an artist if you don't know your audience and who you're speaking to, you know? So I think like for example, every single time that I would go on stage and do a dance piece, right? I would always know before who am I talking and why am I doing this, and what is the meaning of this piece so that if I know what all of things are, my audience is gonna know what these things are. I feel like New York teaches you all of that, it teaches you to learn yourself as an artist and what you want to say. And you know, also teaches you to be empathetic with all other people and your audience, because that is really our job as artists to open a mindset of like new ideas and ways of thinking. Um, there are different types of arts in New York, so you can go and learn from them. And it's not like it doesn't feel like a competition. It feels more like, oh my God, this person is doing so good, and this person has a voice, and this person is doing this and doing that. And you're like, I want to find that. I want to do I want to do what they're doing. I want to find out how they're doing it. And so you start being more insightful about you and not about the other person, if that makes sense. You know, it's more about your journey. And you do it because I remember I used to have like a community there, like, a community of artists. And I don't know, in every corner there is art. There is something that calls your attention. So it's filled with luxury. It's filled with stuff and beauty, but the artists are just trying to find their own thing, It's everybody's individual journey and we're doing it together. That's how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
So that caught my attention. It warmed my heart as an artist.
I see. And how do you feel about LA in that regard? Do you, first of all, how long have you been living in LA at this point?
I've been here 2 years, 2 years and a half.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah,
almost 3 years. Yeah.
yeah, I think you mentioned that before, actually. And how do you feel LA compares to New York in that aspect?
I think LA is it's great. I think LA pushes you to make yourself stand out, if that makes sense, from everybody. But you're gonna have to do it yourself because nobody's gonna do it for you. However, there is connections and there is good people out there. I mean, I met you, right, through like an amazing event and you're awesome and we're supporting each other, you know what I mean? But you kind of just have to find your own people here, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, and I think you have to really work. You cannot just there's one day if you lay down, everybody's working 3,000 times more than you are already, you know? So kind of like, it's kind of like New York, but no. Does that, if that makes sense? I think LA has made me think in ways on how to expose myself better,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, so it is more the commercial side of it and stuff. So I think like it really has made me think in ways of like how to use technology in a certain way, how to use the media, how to use my phone to like to record something and to be, standing out, to stand out. That's how LA feels to me. You kind of have to develop your community as little by little.
Hmm.
It grows.
I see. Okay, well, gosh, I'm trying to like think about what I would have to say to that. Yes, like a very different perspective. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like I love Los Angeles as well, and I definitely also love like it's definitely really inspiring. There's so much going on here, and it can definitely inspire you to be successful. But I feel like the reason why I love it so much is because it has so many connections to um, music, specifically like rock and roll of the 20th century. Like that's the reason why I love it. But
Okay.
like hearing you say that everyone here has to like work 3,000 times as much. Like, I mean, 3,000 times might be a little bit too much, but I mean, there's definitely a lot of truth to what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I don't know. LA is I have a bittersweet feeling about LA because I really like to live in New York. I'm not gonna lie. I love LA. I just think that it's different. Is I don't know. It feels different as an artist, now as a filmmaker. I think it feels different. However, I would agree with you. There are a lot of connections, and that I do appreciate. And if you find the right people, it's a connection that you can grow until, to help each other out. And I think like that's pretty cool about it. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it sure is. Hmm. Okay, and now back to like your studied experience in New York. So what kinds of dance techniques did you study in Hofstra? Like, what genres did they teach you?
So they taught me contemporary. It was mainly a contemporary program focus. Most of the programs are like that. Um, but in the contemporary dance, I learned Graham technique, which comes from Martha Graham. I learned Paul Taylor. I learned Jose Limon, Cunningham. Um, and there was ballet. And ballet is kind of like general. There wasn't really a specific technique that they were teaching because there is like balancing, there is like the RAD, which is the London Academy of Dance, and then you also have the French school, you have the American Ballet Theater School, you have so many. But I thought that ballet, they were kind of like teaching it more of a on a healthy way to do ballet because ballet can be very, very demanding on your body. And I got a lot of injuries because of it, definitely. And I also had a lot of flexibility. So they kind of taught me how to do it best so that my body could last longer as a dancer and I could do it for longer. Because a lot of my professors, like they had hip replacements, knee replacements, like a lot of stuff. So, so yeah, those were the ones that I learned there.
I see. So you learned two types, contemporary and ballet. And
Mhm.
what exactly do you mean by contemporary? Like, I'm not like a dance expert. So could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So, well, it's called modern dance. Really, what Martha Graham, all of these people, great, amazing masters of the modern dance era, um, did was it was kind of like more grounded. Ballet was slippers, the ballet slippers, the point shoes and stuff, all of that work is more up in the to the ceiling, this idea of like going in relevant, going up and being elegant and nice and all this, and it's beautiful and you move the arms and here and the jumps and you look like a the typical ballerina, right? Flying in the air. Modern dance is the opposite. It's still elegant, but it's more grounded. It's bare feet. You don't dance with any slippers. It is more plie. We call it plie. It's more like a grounded technique, and you bend your knees more, and you feel more grounded instead of like up here, straight. There is a lot of breath work in there as well. And a lot of like there's no specific rules to it, you know? There's no specific steps that you have to follow. Ballet is a vocabulary. It has like plié, tendu, battement, battement tendu. Like we have a vocabulary to follow, and there is a way of doing it. Port de bras, all of this, fifth position, first, second. In contemporary, there's not none of that.
Mhm.
The only thing that we do have is that when we do the exercises and the warm-ups, we have a parallel position of the feet, which are pointing towards and straight, bending your knees, breath work, roll downs, more kind of dirty, I would say. More exciting, kind of like breaking rules and boundaries. Um, it is more about the internal, the internal side of things. And movements are more like free. Like you can move like around like that with your hair all the way, and you can move all the way through the space. That is contemporary.
Mhm.
You can move like quick, fast, sharp. You work with a certain alignments of like fluidity, then you go with flow, then you go with sharp, and that's how you start creating pieces.
Mhm.
You know, it's really cool.
I see. Yeah. Well, I feel like that's like the main difference between ballet and contemporary. It's like um, contemporary is more free, basically. It allows you to move more, and it's a lot less like rigid. Like everything that I've ever heard about ballet from from like what I've seen in like movies and stuff, it seems like it's very rigid, and it has like this, and it's like pretty strict too. Like you have to have like a really precise way of like doing things and moving. And I can definitely like I'm not a dance expert. I mean, I did take a few dance classes when I was in high school, but that's about it. But yeah, I definitely I feel like contemporary dance is a lot more flexible in that regard.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're also a singer and songwriter. And how old were you when you started doing those?
Okay, so I play the violin and I started at 4 years old. That was my first contact with the arts. Um, I never really sang. I took like opera classes because the curriculum demanded it to graduate. And I studied everything like in terms of like vocal and stuff like that. But I never really wanted to sing. That's the funny part. It just kind of happened. In New York, I decided to make a film, and I was like going into film a lot. I decided to create a story and doing kind of with my friends. It was nothing serious. And so I told my dad, listen, I've written this song. I don't know, can we hire somebody to sing it and it can be the main soundtrack of the film and stuff like that. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna compose it because he's my composer. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna compose it, blah, 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 but I'm not gonna hire anybody. You have to sing it.
Hmm.
And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how to sing. Well, turns out that when I was like around like 22, 21, I decided to go for it and I decided to give it a go. And I was in New York and I would send my father drafts. He would like give me classes and send me exercises. And I sent him the first drafts and he would tell me the corrections and back and forth. And that's how it started. When I was 22, really.
Mhm. I see. Wow. I started taking voice lessons after I graduated art school because it's like I did mention that I took voice lessons in high school, and that lasted for, let's see, about 2 years, I'd say. Yeah, and then when I went to design school in Los Angeles at 18, I kind of had to put my voice lessons on the back burner just because I had so much homework and I just literally didn't have any time or energy. And once I graduated, I started going out more to listen to like music, and I kind of became really inspired by that again. And so I decided to take voice lessons again at the age of 25, and it's been 8 years since then, and I'm still doing it. Well, recently I also kind of decided to take a little break from that for financial reasons. Like I can't really afford to pay for lessons anymore, but I'm not saying that I'm gonna abandon it. It's like I'm just taking a little break. But yeah, it's pretty amazing that like yeah, like you started out like when you were 22, but I guess that if you practice and also if you have like a dose of natural talent, then you can definitely make it happen.
Yes.
Uh, um, hmm, let's see. What was my next question? Hmm. And what type of music inspires you?
I'm not, a lot of people like, a lot of my friends who are American, they hate me when I say this, but I do love country music. I love it. It's like you don't expect that from me. I'm Latin. I don't think like you expect that from me. I just think it's so rich. So rich. The voices of these singers, I think like their techniques of like going into stuff really attracts me. I mean, if you hear one of my songs, Living in New York is one of the most recent ones from 23, I think, or 24. I like it is kind of like a country rock, soft rock song. And I just love the instrumental part of country music and the voice range of the singers, the female and the male ones. Um, I also like people like Teddy Swims, who's like pretty new. I also like older musicians. I don't know. I think I like a lot of genres, but definitely country music is one of my go my to go.
I see. Yeah, there are a few country artists that I like myself. I'm a huge fan of Kid Rock. I love Carrie Underwood.
Oh,
Um,
Carrie's great.
oh my gosh, yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, I don't think that she has come out with any new stuff in a while.
No.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit older. Like it's more like 2000s or like 2010s. But I
Yeah.
mean, I love her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, so you should check out Derek Woods if you love.
Oh, I haven't heard him.
Yeah,
Let me write it down.
yeah, you should write it down.
Derek.
Derek Woods.
Okay, Derek Woods. Nice.
Yeah, I interviewed him for my podcast a few months ago. I believe it was. Can't remember whether it was winter or uh, this past fall, but
Mhm.
yeah, he's been on my
Awesome.
channel. Okay. Um, hmm. And so, like, when you write and when you record your own music, so do you just like write the lyrics and sing, or do you incorporate your violin playing into your music as well?
Um, I haven't incorporated my violin, abilities in there. I think violin is one of those instruments that for pop music and the type of music that I'm doing is really hard to add it. I study more like classical, Suzuki, like method, violin studies. It is more classical on the classical side. But right now I am just writing the lyrics and then singing them. However, I do have help from my brother and sister. They're awesome at building like lyrics and helping me out when I'm stuck because like it happens. And then my father also writes a lot of the songs. Like my last song, he wrote it. It was dedicated to my mom. Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. I checked
Yeah.
out some of your music, and hmm, And actually, it's been a while since I listened to you, and I apologize for that. I will definitely check out your music.
It's okay.
Yeah. Um, hmm. It was definitely nice. It was a lot different from what I usually listen to because like my two main like my two favorite genres are like rock and pop. But I definitely liked your stuff as well. It was nice.
Thank you.
And so your latest single, Anamorame, did I pronounce that correctly?
Enamórame.
Oh, Anamorame.
Yeah.
It was just released on July 23rd. And can you tell me a little bit of the backstory behind that single?
Okay. So it just happened so everything happened so fast. We had just released one of my singles that I actually wrote that is called You. It's
Mhm.
kind of a more of a soft song because it's related to my upcoming film, my short film called No by Choice. So we were kind of like in that mood for a little bit and we were like really like it was like kind of like low key. And then we were like thinking about the summer suddenly. And I was graduating and all of those things. And my parents were like, we need to create something vibrant, something cool. And I was like, okay, I'm down for that. And something like people can dance to, something that people can feel the Latin side of me.
Mhm.
So my father decided to dedicate this song to my mom, and it's called Enamórame. And it really talks about like from the perspective of a woman, how we would like to be kind of like how like men should like kind of like make us feel important, how can we fall in love and how they should be attentive to those things. um and but also it says like how from the moment that she saw him, she fell right into his eyes, you know. But it teaches she te like the perspective of the woman kind of like teaches like this is the way that I would like you to make me fall in love
Mhm.
kind of thing. I don't need roses, I don't need that. I just need to feel great. So that is kind of like the the essence of the story. And that's how it was born. It was like kind of like I mean Bad Bunny was releasing his new single. Carol G was also releasing her new album, and all these Latin artists they used the summer. So we were like, hey, let's do something like that is like Salvadoran, pure Salvadoran. So we incorporate accordion, we incorporated like a lot of instruments that you don't hear every day.
Mhm. I see. I should definitely give it a listen. I mean, and the backstory, like what it's about, like it sounds really cool. Like it's definitely written from like, I mean, obviously there are like a lot of love songs,
Yeah.
but I feel like I've never actually listened to a love song before that's written from that particular perspective. That has like that angle.
And also we're doing a music video and it's coming out soon. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, well, I will be looking forward to seeing that. And which reminds me, I gotta, you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna subscribe.
Yes, okay, great.
Okay, and so you also work in the film industry as an actor, producer, editor, and screenwriter, and
Yes.
work both in film and music video production. When and where did you learn? I mean, when and where did you study to acquire all of those skills?
So after New York, I have to move out to LA to study my master's at the New York Film Academy. And I decided to go for the master's in acting for film. And the reason why is because I really loved and enjoy being in front of the camera. And you know, I just wanted to learn. I had never had acting lessons except for some of my drama minor at Hofstra, but that was pretty much it. So then I decided to go for that, and it kind of just like went by. We started having like producing classes, screenwriting classes, editing and stuff like that. And I had already learned how to edit before. So I kind of self-taught myself how to edit in DaVinci, and you know how to put effects in there here and there. So yeah, that's how the editing went. And also, you know, here is kind of like the more you know how to do, the better, you know, and especially when you're an artist. you kind of like, especially with like independent artist stuff, like you kind of have to learn how to do a lot of stuff by yourself. So living in New York, I edited with the director Gabriele Bossetti. Coffee also. All of my music videos, I've edited them and really got in there. Then in producing wise, it's the same thing. I went to classes at NIFA in my master's and I learned how to do all the paperwork. I was very intrigued. And then little by little, the things that I hadn't learned, I just learned them on set. I was like, can I produce the film? Can I produce that? The other one, the other one. And I just put myself out there.
Mhm. I see. I see. That's really cool. So do you write movies in English or in your native Spanish?
I write movies in English.
I see. Okay. And hmm. So if you named a few artists that you've created music that you created music videos for, would I know of any of them?
I can, so right now it has only been for myself, really. And then I have created one for Walter Alas, which is my father. We filmed in two countries, El Salvador and here in LA. It was a pretty cool experience. And then right now I'm producing another music video for a band. I can't say right now who they are, but soon you guys are gonna see one of my recent works that I'm producing with our company BGM Film.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hope. I mean, I'll be on the lookout, and hopefully, I'll be able to see it. If you say that you're producing it for a band that you're not allowed to name here, I'm guessing they must be someone big.
No, no, they're not big. They're just starting out.
Okay. Well, in any case, I'll subscribe to your YouTube channel so I can like check that more.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and have any of the movies that you worked on been released yet?
Uh, so right now, no, because they're in festivals. They're running through festivals and we can't release them yet, but hopefully by next year they should be out, both of them.
I see. Okay. And I'm guessing that you probably can't tell me the names of those movies in here, right?
Yes, I can. I actually, the first one is called CA3N. It's a sci-fi movie, science fiction short film. And then the other movie, it's Not by Choice. And that is a story about a dancer who suffers from Parkinson's disease.
I see. Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Okay. And you said that both of them will be shown at the Sundance Festival.
No, 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 no. They're running four festivals. We have applied to a lot of festivals, and hopefully we're crossing fingers that they pick one
Uh-huh.
of them.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, as long as I got the names down, it means that I can definitely Google both of those. And
Yes,
hopefully, I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, like I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to like check those out on Amazon Prime or something like that.
hopefully.
I see. Well, yeah, it would definitely.
If not, we will invite you to the screening
Oh, yeah, that would definitely be great.
because we will be having a screening soon.
Okay, and you are represented by Avant Artists.
Yes.
How long have you been working with them?
Oh my God, it's been so little. I started with them in May because so international students cannot work while they are in their F1, like a full time. It's just very complicated. You can work, but it's just very complicated. So I graduated in April and in May, and I started with them in May. It
Mhm.
was like actually pretty fast. Like I got some callbacks from certain agencies and management companies, but they were the ones who really were really good. They're really great.
I see. And like, how would you say working with them has like benefited you?
I think that when you are a starting actor and you're starting out to put yourself out in the industry, I think that one of the things that they have really done a great job at is that putting myself out there.
Mhm.
Thankfully, I've gotten a lot of callbacks. I mean, I know and I've heard that a lot of people like take years to get a callback or months. Like I really have just been with them for 4 months or less than 4 months, and I think like it's going pretty well. I have to be patient because that's just how it is. I mean, there's actors who have been in this industry for 10 years until they get their first job or big job, But they have done a really great job of like trying everything, like this commercial, this thing, that thing, voiceover, print, whatever it is, films, short films, student films, like everything. So, they're always working their best so that I can, shine. And I think that's why I always give my best in the auditions.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like working with this agency has really like pushed you to put yourself out there even more. Yeah, just like you said, like they're always encouraging you to do all sorts of acting work.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, that's definitely yeah, it's a really good advice. And
Yeah.
my last question is, so you're the COO of BGM Film. Is that a company that you established yourself?
So I co-founded it with the CEO. His name is Gabriele Busetti. He has been kind of like the director of all the projects I've done so far. And yeah, we just work pretty well, and we have partnered with CTO Abhinav Joshi, who is an amazing cinematographer. Um, and yeah, we just kind of started building this company out of like school. It came out to be a bond. We have been working together for almost 3 years and doing projects. The two films that you will hopefully come to the premiere if you can. Um, they are done by them and I. I produced and I've acted, and it has been a great thing. So yeah.
I see. And how old were you when you became the COO?
It was this year.
Oh,
25. 20, yeah, I was 25 back then. Now I'm 26.
I see. Well, I mean, that's it's definitely really great that you're like rated the COO of that company. And
Yeah,
those are all
it's
the questions.
definitely hard, but it's a lot of work. It's a
Yeah.
lot of
Well, it sounds like you're definitely not afraid of a lot of work, like based on what you've been doing. You've basically been working your whole life. And I mean, when I was reading your bio, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I mean, you're definitely an inspiration.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, and like as far as the movies go, hopefully, where will I be able to at least like see the flyer for the events?
We haven't made it so far because we're waiting. We might probably release it until next year because we're waiting for festivals, and it takes about like a year to hear a response depending on how early you applied. For example, if you apply to Sundance, for example, they give you the response in December, and then the event is in March, and you can't really show until then, the film, until after March. So we're just waiting, but once it goes out, I will let you know.
All right,
Definitely.
yeah, please do. Okay, well, thank you so much again for being on my show, Eve. And
Thank
everyone, please like, comment, subscribe, support me on Patreon. The links below. Okay, thank you. Bye.
thank you. Bye.